as possible. So let's just jump into it. Does anybody have any questions? Anything y'all want to go over? Could be homework related, whatever, topic related. Everybody feeling good? All right. All right. So we got a new topic today. All right. We're going to be graphing linear equations in two variables. All right. Again, if you feel like you know it, jump on your homework. All right. No pressure, no pressure. I want to start with like a little blast from the past. All right. Just a little blast from the past. All right, here we go. This might be a little difficult, but I have faith in everybody here. All right. How do we do the first one? It says evaluate 5x minus 4 when x is equal to -1. Tell me how to do that. Yeah, you can solve it, or tell me how to do it. Either one. Okay. Very good. Now, what do you do after that? Good. And what do you get? Okay. Okay, so -5 minus 4. And what's -5 minus 4? Negative, give me something better. -9, right? And then that's it. Any questions on this? This is just plugging in and evaluating. All right. Are we good? All right, how about question 2? A little bit harder. But as I said, I believe in y'all. All right. So we got 3x minus 2y, and we want to evaluate it when x equals 4 and y equals -3. Tell me what to do. Go ahead. Okay. Uh-huh. Very good. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Very good. Very good. Very good. All right. Good, good. And then what's 12 plus 6? 18, right? That's how many points we're going to win by tonight. All right. Questions, anybody? Plug in the x for x, plug in the y for y. That's it. We good? All right. All right, now that we got the hard stuff out the way, let's do one of the easy questions. All right. This one's an easy question. Easy question. I want to solve for y. I have 8 minus 3y is equal to 20. Tell me what to do. All right. I'll rewrite it. All right. So 8 minus 3y equals 20. All right. And I want to solve for y. How do I do that? Not add 8. Give me something better. Not add. Subtract, right? Because I have a positive 8 here, so I want to subtract 8 from over here. But I got to be fair, right? What I do to one side of the equation, I have to do to the other side of the equation. All right. So whoops. Scroll down a little bit. All right. So now I have -3y is equal to, what's 20 minus 8? 12. Very good. So now, how do I get y by itself? I have -3 times y. How do I undo multiplication? By what? Divide, right? Exactly. Exactly. So the idea is, right, whatever is in front of the variable that you want, divide by it. Whatever's there, positive or negative, the whole thing. Right? Yeah. Yeah. Uh-huh. To the minus sign, yeah. Yeah. Uh, yeah. Yeah. True. Mhm. Right, it is. Yeah. It's true. All right, this is the hard part. What is positive 12 divided by -3? What? Close. Give me a better answer. -4. Good, good, good. And that's it. Any questions about this? We good? All right, that was the hard stuff. All right. So let's look at our lesson for today. This is what we're doing, right? We're going to graph a linear equation by plotting points, right? So graph a linear equation by plotting points. There are several methods that can be used to graph a linear equation. The first method we will use is called plotting points or point plotting method, right? We find 3 points whose coordinates are solutions to the equation and then plot them in a rectangular coordinate system. By connecting these points in a line, we have the graph of the linear equation, right? So here it is, how to graph a linear equation by plotting points, all right? I'm gonna be honest with y'all about something. So how many of y'all planning to take Math 30 after this? Pre-calculus, yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. So look, this is the sauce right now, right? If you could plot points, right? That's pretty much the whole course, right? The course is going to teach you like how to graph it and stuff like that without having to plot the points. But when in doubt, plot your points. And that's your answer right there. So you could reverse engineer all the questions. Like, as I said, in math, it's optional to get the question wrong. It's up to y'all if y'all want to, right? Y'all can check your answers. Y'all can do this method I'm about to show y'all, right? So how to graph an equation by plotting points. So first we got to make up some points, right? So this equation is what? It's y equals 2x plus 1, right? So what you want to do, right? We're going to make something called a table of values. Right? So there's going to be an x coordinate and there's going to be a y coordinate, right? Now, this is a linear equation, right? So I only need a couple of points in order to graph this, right? Technically speaking, I only need two, but we're going to do three, right? And I'm going to even go a step further. I'm going to show you my favorite 3 points to use, all right? So this is going to be a sweet spot, all right? Real quick though, right? If I have a whole number and I want to turn into a fraction, how can I do that? All right? Over 1, right? So I'm going to do that right here. I'm going to put this 2 over 1. All right? I don't care about the what you call it, the b term over there. Don't really care about that. So here are my favorite points to find, right? And this is true for every linear equation, right? I love 0. Oh, baby. When x is 0, what's the y value? Essentially what I'm asking you, right? If I was to plug in 0 right here, right, it would become 1, right? So you see why I like 0, right? Knocks that x right out. I'm just left with the b term. Hallelujah, right? So here's my next favorite what you call it, points, x coordinates to choose, right? These are the next two. Going back to the original equation, this is y equals 2x plus 1. I made it as 2 over 1, right? You see that denominator right there, right? The denominator here is 1, right? Put the denominator over here and put the negative of the denominator there, right? Because at the end of the day, we don't like fractions like that. We want whole numbers, right? So when you put the denominator there, it makes the fraction go away. In this question, not a big deal. It's over 1, right? In future questions, when there's fractions there, big deal, right? Big deal. You don't want that y term to be a what you call it, to be a fraction. You want that y term to be a nice whole number. It makes it easier to graph when you're graphing it. All right. So anyway, let's do it real quick, right? So what is y? So y is equal to 2 over 1, let's say times positive 1 plus 2, excuse me, plus 1. Made a mistake. So this is what? 2 times 1 is 2 plus 1. Somebody real quick, count on your fingers. What's 2 plus 1? 3, 3. Bet. Appreciate y'all. All right. All right, a little bit harder. A little bit harder. So we're going to do y is equal to, I have 2 over 1 times negative 1 plus 1. All right. So what's 2 times negative 1? Negative 2, right? Plus 1. So what's negative 2 plus 1? Negative 1. Very good, right? And that's it. So you see how I have these three very nice coordinate points that I can plot, right? And that's our next task, right? We want to plot these points. Doo, doo, doo. And we got to choose the orange for the next, right? So we got 0, 1, right? Actually, I'm just going to do, what I'm going to do, I'm just go up by 3. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. I'm just going to label them. This is 1, this is 2, this is 3, this is 1, this is 2, this is 3. This is negative 1, negative 2, negative 3. This is negative 1, negative 2, and negative 3. Okay. So we want to plot these points, right? And how do you plot a point? You always start off with your x first and then your y. I guess you could kind of do it in reverse as well, but just follow my tune, X and then Y, right? So the first point is what? 0, 1. So I come across on the X axis to, oh, I'm sorry. I didn't even tell y'all what the X axis is. Let me start off. So the horizontal axis, this is the X axis. The vertical axis, this is the Y axis. My bad. I forgot to say that. All right. So I want to plot these points. Okay. So the first point is the point 0, comma 1, right? 0 is for X, 1 is for Y, right? So you come across the X axis to where the 0 is in the center, right? And you go up 1 to where the Y is. So right here. This is my point 0, comma 1, right? Next, I'm going to plot the next point. This point is 1, comma 3. 1, comma 3, right? So I'm going to go across on the x-axis to where positive 1 is, and I'm going to go up to where 3 is. That's like right here. So this is the point 1, comma 3. Last but not least, I have the point negative 1, negative 1, right? Negative 1 comma negative 1. So I'm going to go across to negative 1, then I'm going to go down to where negative 1 is. And there it is. That's the point. Negative 1 comma negative 1. After you're done doing that, right, you could graph your line, right, going straight through the points. And there you go. This is the equation y equals 2x plus 1. And that's it. That's how you graph it. Any questions on this? It's good? Mhm. It's boring? All right, we like boring. All right, just knock out the homework then. Nickelodeon. Would you guys like to try one, or you guys feel like you get it? Anybody want to try one? I'm sorry? Yeah, absolutely. Appreciate that. I saw a question over here. You can ask. Okay. We had a question? Okay. All right, so try this one. So your goal is, right? You want to graph this equation, right? But you got to first find your plots, all right? So let's just recap what I did, and then you can try this, right? So first thing I did, I made the slope, right? The number that's in front of the x, right? That coefficient. I put that over 1 to make it into a fraction, right? That's going to help me in choosing the x coordinates that I'm going to plug in to find the y coordinate, right? Always we're gonna plug in 0. 0 is our friend, right? 0 is just eliminates everything, and then we have just the y-intercept. All right. Then you want to plug in the denominator, right, of the fraction that you have for the slope, right? Whatever that bottom number is, you want to plug it in positive and negative, both, right? After that, you get your y coordinates, right? You draw your graph, right? And then you plot it, right? You might be wondering, like, when I did my graph, why why go out 3 spaces, right? It's because I had the 3 right here. I could have gone out more. I could have went out 4. 4 would probably be more appropriate, right? Because it would be wider so you could see the graph a little bit better. But you want to just make it large enough to plot your points. And then after that, the hard part is connecting the dots, right? I recommend using your BCC ID for that. You just put it there and just line it up, right? Yeah. And that's it. You guys try. So how we doing? We good or y'all need another minute? Good? You want to try it? All right, so tell me what to do real quick. What should I do first? Before the graph, what do I do? All right, I have to find the values, right? What values we going to plug in for x? What is it? 0, very good. What else? 1, very good. What's another one? Very good. All right. Truthfully speaking, you could actually plug in any number you want for x. It doesn't matter which one. I'm trying to show you guys the most strategic one to do, right? All right, so tell me what the y coordinate will be. What's y of 0? What you got? -3, very good. What's y of 1? -1, very good. What's y of -1? -5, very good, right? So in case anybody's wondering how we did that, we just plugged in the x coordinates into the equation up here, right? So for example, for the last one, right, we have y is equal to 2 times -1 minus 3. And then when you do the math on that, you get -2 minus 3, which is -5. And that's how we get that y coordinate. Questions on this? So everybody's good. Good. The -4 or the -1? I got you. So for this one, right, we have y is equal to 2, but we're plugging in +1 for the x minus 3. So then 2 times 1 is just 2, and then minus 3, right? So 2 minus 3 is like, imagine you have like $2, right? And then let's say someone swiped $3 off of your credit card, right? So now you're left with owing $1, so it's -1, right? Another way to also think about that, right? You have 2 minus 3. You can do the opposite of +3, right? Which would be plus -3. So 2 plus -3, that's -1. That's another way to think about it as well. All right. All right. So now I got my points. I'm good to go. Right. So now all I got to do, let me draw my graph. Once again, the horizontal line, that's the x-axis, vertical line, that's the y-axis, right? I'm going to go a little bit further out for this one, right? So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, right? I have 1, 2, 3. I'll redraw the y. 4 and 5, right? I have -1, -2, -3, -4, and -5, right? And then down here I have -1, -2, -3, -4. Scroll down a little bit. And I have -5, all right? So now, hold on one second. I want to plot my points. First point is 0, -3, right? That's the point 0, comma, -3. Where is that? Somebody walk me through how to plot that. What? Start at 0. Okay, so I'm in the center at 0. And I go down 3, right? So 1, 2, 3. So right here. This is that point 0, comma, -3. All right, where is 1, comma, -1, right? That's the next point. 1, comma, -1. Where is that? What? Okay, 1. and then go down one, right? So that's like somewhere like right here. So that's the point 1 comma negative 1. Where is negative 1 comma negative 5? What is that? Mhm. And then 5 down, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So somewhere like right here, right? So that's negative 1 comma negative 5. After that, you just connect the dots. That's all it is. And bam. So this is y equals 2x minus 3. Questions on this, anybody? Not too bad, right? All right. We didn't get there yet. Yeah, that's advanced. Yeah. Well, we gonna get there. Don't worry. This is another way to do it. Yeah. This method, though, this will take you straight through Math 30. All right. Anytime you confused, plot your points and you can verify. Right. Once again, Math 30 is just a bunch of tricks, how to do different kinds of curves and stuff like that. But whenever you're in doubt, you plot your points, you connect the dots, and you'll see your graph. All right. So remember this technique. I know it's simple right now, but remember it. All right. So now let me give y'all some notes real quick. Y'all could copy this down. I know some people don't just like to hear me talk. Y'all want to actually see some notes. So here you go. All right. So this is how to graph a linear equation by plotting points, right? 3 steps. Step 1, find 3 points whose coordinates are solutions to the equation, aka plug in any x value you want, but I recommend y'all plug in 0 and then whatever the denominator is for the slope, right? Organize them in a table. Step 2, plot the points in a rectangular coordinate system, right? Check that the rectangular coordinate system is the XY plane like that, right? Check that the points line up. If they do not, carefully check your work, right? So the points should kind of form a line, so to speak, right? Without you even drawing a line. And then step 3, of course, draw the line through the 3 points, extend the line to the grid, and put arrows at both ends of the line, right? Because the line is continuing on for infinity in both directions. So that's why we want to put an arrow at the top and the bottom of the line. And that's it. Questions on it? Good. All right. It is true that it only takes 2 points to determine a line, but it is a good habit to use 3 points. If you only plot 2 points and one of them is incorrect, you can still draw a line, but it will not represent the solution to the equation, right? So it'll be the wrong line, in other words. If you use 3 points and one is incorrect, the point will not line up. This tells you something is wrong and you need to check your work, right? So for example, right, you can look at these 2 drawings right here. You see how the 3 dots, they kind of form a line, they line up, so to speak, and you can pass a line through them. But then when you look at example B over here, they're not in a line, right? Like one point is messed up. I don't know which one is messed up, but one of them points is messed up, right? To make it a correct line. So now we have to go back and look at our work. Did we plug in the number correctly? Did we multiply correctly? Did we add or subtract correctly? All right. So this is like one of those like check but verify kind of situations, right? Let's see. So when an equation includes a fraction as a coefficient of x, we can still substitute any number for x, but the arithmetic is easier if we make good choices for the value of x. This way we can avoid fractional answers, which are hard to graph precisely, right? So let's look at an example, shall we? All right, let's look at this example. So I have y is equal to 1/2 x plus 3, right? So what's the first thing I want to do? I want to find my table of values, right? So I have my x and I have my y, right? Looking at this equation, y equals 1/2 x plus 3. Tell me which x values to choose. 0, very good. What else? Not 1. 2, very good. What's another one? -2, perfect. That was amazing, right? So now let's plug them in and get our y coordinates, right? So I have y is equal to 1/2 times 0 plus 3, which is, it's going to become what? 0 plus 3, which is 3, right? Mm-hmm. All right, now watch the magic. Watch the magic, right? This is why we always pick the denominator, right? I have y is equal to 1/2 times 2 plus 3, right? So you know that the 2's will cancel, becoming 1, right? So this becomes what? 1 plus 3, which is close, close. Give me a better answer. 4. Good, good. All right. And then check this out again, right? Now we have y is equal to 1/2 times the -2, right? Plus 3. So 1/2 times the -2, the 2's will just cancel out, right? So this is going to become what? -1 plus 3. And what's -1 plus 3? 2, right? And that's it. Now I have my table of values. And what am I going to do after that? Draw my graph, plot my points, draw a line through it. And that's it. All right. Any questions on this though? Everybody understands why we chose 2 and -2? All right. We're literally choosing it because that's what's in the denominator of the question that we're working with. Equation that we're working with, excuse me. Sorry about that. Right, because the denominator was 1. Right. Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. That's it. You got the second one? Awesome. Right. It had a 2, so then that's why we use 2 instead. The second one? You mean like the question that we tried, this one. Awesome. Yeah. Yeah, so this one the same thing. It's a whole number 2, so we just put it over 1, and then now we know what to choose. Right? That's the secret right there. All right, so let's graph this real quick, right? I only have to go out to 4 units. Not too bad, not too bad, right? So I'm gonna try and make my graphs better. They're a work in progress. I'm not that good at art. That was my elective though when I was a student over here. I took art, you know. Very good at criticizing other people's art, but don't ask me to draw art. Oh man. So this is 1, that's 2, that's 3, that's 4, -1, -2, -3, -4, and then -1, -2, -3, and -4. All right. We got to switch to orange for the next, right? And then now we want to plot our points, right? So first point, 0, 3, right? 0, 3. So tell me where or how to do this. It's not hard. 0, 3, where's that? Uh-huh. 3, very good. So right here, right? Start off at 0 in the center, go up 3, right? So this is the point 0, comma 3. Let's look at the next point. The next point is 2, comma 4, all right? I didn't mean to do that. This is 2, comma 4. So help me out. How do I do this? 2, 2, 4, like this. Yeah, +2, +4. Uh-huh. Very good. All right. This is the point right here. This is 2, comma 4. Last point, -2, comma 2. Where's that? -2, comma 2. Okay. And up 2, right? Very good. So right here. So this is the point, -2, comma 2. After that, just make a little line going through the points like that. And then this is the graph. I'm going to put it down here. Y equals 1/2 x plus 3. And that's it. Questions on this? Anybody? It's good. It's clear. Would you guys like to try one? Go ahead. Yeah, that was the last point. So you go across to -2 and then up 2. Oh, no, no. So what happened was we took the -2 right here and we plugged it into the equation, right? The 1/2 x plus 3. So when -2 got multiplied by the half, it became -1. And -1 plus 3 is +2. So how you guys feel? It's understandable? A little bit? You want to try one? Yep. Say it again? The dot in the middle? The equation? Yeah, it's good. It's good because it shows you what the line is. Yeah. Even when you guys are doing like projects in Excel and things like that, it's good to show that equation so that the teacher can know, like, oh, this is the slope, this is the y-intercept, it's the line and all of that. In Excel, that's just a button that you click and that's it. So you guys try. Same rules and everything as before. Same process. And if you feel like you got it, log in, knock out your homework. This is literally like your whole homework. Maybe like 2 or 3 more topics that I have to show, but most of the homework is this. Also, I want to encourage y'all to go to tutoring if possible. Like you guys don't have to be confused when you're doing your homework and stuff like that. There's help available, right? It's free, by the way. Last time I went on Thursday, right? They had Rice Krispie treats. Just telling you. Also, if you guys are gonna take advantage of the free meal that they have at Low Hall 415, there's a microwave in tutoring, so you can literally just bring the food over there and heat it up, you know? I didn't remember seeing anybody with grocery bags last week, so I assume that pantry is this week. So if any of you guys are interested in the pantry, y'all should sign up and go collect your groceries over there. That's free also, by the way. Are we good? No? Still working on it? Stuck. Okay. That's fair. That's fair. We're gonna do it together. Well, anybody needs a minute or y'all good? Y'all just knocking out your homework? All right, let's take a look. This will be good. All right, so first, what I want to look for. Exactly, right? Want that table of values right there. So which x coordinates or x points are we gonna choose? Which numbers? 0, very good. What else? 3, very good. Give me another one. Perfect. Very good. Now we're just gonna simply plug them in and see what happens, right? So always we want to choose a denominator, and then we want to do it positive and negative, right? For the x coordinates. Always, yeah. One positive, one negative. Mhm. Yeah, it is -1. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. So what's happening is I'm actually plugging in for the x, you know? So this becomes y equals 1/3 times, let's say, the 0 minus 1. And then, anything times 0 is 0, right? So this is just 0 minus 1, which is -1. So that's the first one. For the second one, right? It's going to be 1/3, and then this is going to be times the 3 minus 1, right? So 1/3 times 3, that's just 1, minus 1, which is just 0. Does that make sense? Yeah. And then now for the last one, I'm going to have y is equal to 1/3, but this time I'm going to have -3 minus 1. So now 1/3 times -3, that's -1. And -1 minus 1, that's -2. And that's it. All right, go ahead. Yeah. Okay. So after that, right? How do I multiply fractions, right? Remember that this is going to be 1/3. And whenever you have a whole number, you're going to put that as -3/1. Of course, minus 1, right? When we multiply fractions, we multiply straight across, right? Numerator times numerator over denominator times denominator. So this becomes what? 1 times -3 over 3 times 1, which is minus 1. Keep going. 1 times -3, you know that's just -3. 3 times 1, you know that's just 3. And of course, minus 1. Now, -3 divided by 3, right? Anything divided by itself is 1, right? So this is going to become what? -1 minus 1, which when you subtract it, that becomes a -2. And that's how. Right? You're welcome. It's not quadratic. Quadratic is when it's to a second power. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, well, we will get there though to a quadratic. It's curved. Okay. All right, I'll take a look. I'll take a look. 3. All right, let's try it out. Let's graph it and see what happens. I don't need a crazy graph because I'm only going out 3 units. Once again, this is my x-axis. This is my y-axis. I'm gonna go 1, 2, and 3. I'm gonna go 1, 2, and 3. I'm gonna go -1, -2, -3. This is gonna be -1, -2, and -3. Got to choose our blue for the next. All right. And then see what we got. First point is 0, -1. All right. So I start off at 0. And where am I going to go? 1 down, right? So here, this is our 0, -1. My next point is what? 3, 0. Where's that? Uh-huh. So it's right here, 3, 0. All right. Right. Now where's my next point? I got you. Got you. So my next point is -3, -2, right? So I'm going to go across the -3, go down to -2. So that's right here. This is -3, -2. All we have to do is just connect the dots, just like that. That's it. I don't have my ID on me. That's why the line is not straight. But y'all good. Y'all got your IDs and stuff. Y'all can line it up. Oh yeah, I forgot to do that. I appreciate that. So this is going to be, where do I want it? I'll put it right here. Y equals 1/3 x minus 1. That's it. Yeah, yeah, that's a part of it. Any questions on this, anybody? The 0? I just plugged it in. This one on the top, right? Or are you talking about the second one? Second one. So I plugged in 3 into the equation over here, right? 1/3 times 3 is positive 1. So 1 minus 1 is 0. So that's how I got the 0 for this. Nine? So let's look. So I have y is equal to 1/3 times 3 minus 1, right? So anytime you have a whole number, to make it a fraction, you put it over 1, right? So this is going to become 1/3 times 3 over 1 minus 1. Now, whenever we multiply fractions, we multiply straight across, right? Numerator with numerator, the top numbers, denominator with denominator, the bottom numbers, right? So this is going to become 1 times 3 over 3 times 1, and of course, minus 1, right? And then just do the math as you see it. 1 times 3 is just 3. 3 times 1 is just 3 minus 1. Now, anytime you divide anything by itself, so 3 divided by 3, it's a 1. Anything divided by itself, all right? So this is just 1 minus 1, which is 0. And that's where the 0 came from. Any other questions? Anybody? All right. Good stuff, good stuff. I feel like for homework, you have like one question on this topic right here. So pay attention and learn it good because y'all not gonna have that many examples of it. Mhm. So we're gonna be graphing vertical and horizontal lines. All right. So to graph vertical and horizontal lines, some linear equations have only one variable. They may just have x or and no y, or just y without an x. This changes how we make a table of values to get the points to plot. Let's consider the equation x is equal to -3. This equation has only one variable x. The equation says that x is always equal to -3. So its value does not depend on y. No matter what value of y, the value of x is always -3, right? So to make the table of values, you write -3 in all of the x values, then choose any values for y. Since x does not depend on y, you can choose any number you like, but to fit the points on the coordinate graph, we'll use 1, 2, and 3, very simply, right? So the equation is x is equal to -3, right? So all of the x values, as you can see in the chart, is -3, and we're just choosing 3 easy y values, 1, 2, 3. Simple, right? So that makes the point -3, 1, -3, 2, and -3, 3. All right. Let's keep going. Feel like my graphs are ugly, so I don't want to draw that. I just want to show y'all it. All right. Yeah. This should be pretty. Okay. So as you can see, right, we're going to plot the points from the table, right? -3, 3, -3, 2, -3, 1, right? They form a straight line going up. It's a vertical line. So anytime you have an equation, right, where it's one variable and the variable is x equals blah, 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 that's going to be a vertical line. All right. So you just plug in any 3 values of y, it don't matter. Vertical line. That's it. Whenever it's x equals as your equation. But what if the equation, go ahead. You can plug in 0. You could plug in 0, -3, comma 0. That's fine. Yeah. That would be a point right here. Right? Well, on the x-axis, right? Let me do it in orange so you can see. Right? It would be on the x-axis right here. This would be -3, comma 0. That's another point. Yeah. Any y value you want, you could plug in when it's vertical like that. All right. But let's change it up a little bit. What if the equation has y but no x, right? So let's graph the equation y equals 4. This time the y value is a constant. So in this equation, y does not depend on x, right? So we're going to fill in 4 for all the y values in the table, as you can see right here, right? And then we're going to choose any x values that we want. It don't matter, right? Let's keep it simple. 0, 2, 4. Right? So that's going to give us the point 0, comma 4, 2, comma 4, 4, comma 4, right? When you graph it, this is what it's going to look like, right? Again, I feel like mine is ugly, so I just want to show you all this. This is going to be what's called a horizontal line, right? Because as you see, the x values are changing, but every y value is 4, so it's horizontal. Right, so in this figure, we have graphed the horizontal line passing through the y-axis at y equals 4. So this is the graph y equals 4. All right? Makes sense? So anytime your equation is y equals blah, 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 that's a horizontal line. Right? That's a horizontal line. Okay. I know some of y'all might want some notes, so let me hit y'all with that first, and then we'll do an example. So here we go. So vertical and horizontal lines, right? A vertical line is the graph of an equation that's of the form x equals a. A is any number, right? The line passes through the x-axis at a comma 0, right? So anytime you have an equation that's x equals whatever, it's going to pass through whatever comma 0, right? If you can remember that, you'll be good to go, right? A horizontal line is the graph of an equation of the form y equals b. The line is going to pass through the y-axis at 0, comma b, right? So whatever the equation is, y equals blah, 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 it's going to pass through, right? 0, comma, blah, 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 horizontal line, all right? Let's try this out. I'll let y'all try it. Then I'm going to show you my way of doing it. You have x equals 2, y equals -1. Graph it for me. I'm going to show y'all a nice little shortcut after that. We done? All right, let me show y'all my little trick for this, right? So let's start off with x is equal to 2. All right. So it's actually a different trick. All right. Let's just start off with our table of values, all right? I'll show you that trick in another question. So we know that x is going to be 2, 2, and 2, right? You could pick any y values you want, right? Y'all probably can guess what my three favorite are. 1, 0, -1. Keep it simple, right? So you know that x is going to go through, right? 2 comma 0, right? So 1, 2. That's 2. This is my line right here, technically. All right. So you have this point, which is 2 comma 0. You have another point up here, which is 2 comma 1. And you have another point down here, which is 2 comma -1. So you have an x equation, you have a vertical line, right? As you could probably guess, the next one's going to be a horizontal line. But just humor me for a second. I have y equals -1. Make your table of values. All right. We know that y is going to always be -1. That's not changing. All right. You can pick any three x values that you want. Here's my favorite. 1, 0, -1. Right? And then just graph it. Right? So we're going to have this 0 here, come down here. This is -1. You know, this is going to be a horizontal line going through. Right? This is y equals -1. And you can plot these points if you want. This is +1 comma -1. This is 0 comma -1. And over here, this is -1 comma -1. I forgot to write my equation on the other side. This is x equals 2. All right, questions on this? Make sense? No? All right, here's another trick that I have, right? I'm gonna show you guys a special trick. Not really in the lesson, but this is how I like to do it, right? Let's say that they give you a question where they're like, graph a vertical line through this point or whatever, or they might give you a point. Let's say the point is like 2 comma 3, right? And you want to know what is the vertical line that's passing through it, right? Well, vertical starts with what letter of the alphabet? That word vertical. V, right? So if you have a V and you flip it upside down, what does it become? It looks like an X, right? So the vertical line is the X coordinate, right? Let's say that they ask you for a horizontal line, right? You flip the horizontal line upside down, what does it become? Kind of looks like a Y, right? So this is the Y coordinate. That's my little trick. All right. Use it if you like. All right. Would you guys like to try another graphing of the horizontal and vertical line, or you feel like you got it? All right, y'all all silent, so I assume y'all got it. All good? All right. There's like one question in your homework for it. All right, so let's change gears a little bit. A little bit, not really. A little bit. All right. We're still doing the same kind of thing, but now I'm going to show you guys another trick. So we just went over like the universal way of answering every single question, right? This is your, like, let's say your backup plan in case things don't work out. If you're on the test and you forget exactly what to do, you do what we just learned, right? You plot your points and you'll always be good. You can never go wrong plotting your points. All right? Never, ever, ever. But let's start talking shortcuts, all right? So we want to find our x and y intercepts, all right? So we're going to find x and y intercepts. Every linear equation can be represented by a unique line that shows all the solutions of the equation. So we have seen that when graphing a line by plotting points, you can use any three solutions to graph. This means that two people graphing the line might use different sets of 3 points. At first glance, right, their two lines might not appear to be the same since they would have different points labeled, but if all the work was done correctly, the lines should be exactly the same. One way to recognize that they are indeed the same is to look at where the lines crosses the x and the y axis. These points are called the intercepts of a line, right? So let's define that real quick. Intercepts of a line, the points where a line crosses the x-axis and the y-axis, and they're called intercepts of a line, right? So that's what we're getting into now. I want to show y'all a little example real quick before we get deeper into this. All right. So let's look at these two graphs that we have here, right? I'm looking at the first graph over here, right? So this point right here is 0, 6. You see how the line is passing through the y-axis? That's called your y-intercept, right? So a y-intercept is where the graph will cross the y-axis when x equals 0, right? You see this point right here in the first graph I'm looking at? This is 3, 0, right? That's called your x-intercept, right? So an x-intercept is where the graph will cross the x-axis when y equals 0, all right? Let's try it again. Looking at the second graph over here, right? You see where it says 0, 3? That's crossing the y-axis, right? So that is a y-intercept, right? It's where the graph will cross the y-axis when x equals 0, all right? You see over here, all right? This point 4, 0 in the second graph, right? That's your x-intercept. It's where the graph will cross the x-axis, right? When y equals 0, all right? Any questions on this so far? It's clear? All right, cool, 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 cool. That sounds good. That sounds good. That sounds good. All right. Let me just show y'all another example real quick before we get deeper. So look at these two graphs over here now. So the first one, this is the graph of x minus y equals 5, right? Same game as before, right? Y-intercept is right here, 0, 5, right? X-intercept is over here, 5, 0, right? I want to talk about this last graph, though. This is really interesting, right? This graph passes straight through the origin, right? So this point right here, the origin, this is both the x and the y-intercept at the same time, right? This is the graph of y equals negative 2x, all right? Any questions on this? Make sense? All right. This is a really easy concept that we're doing. It has a little twist and turns here and there, but it's not too bad. All right. So first, notice where each of these lines cross the x-axis. Now, let's look at the points where these lines cross the y-axis, right? So figure A crosses at 3, right? The ordered pair is 3 comma 0, etc., etc. Right? You guys see the table there. You don't have to draw this table. This is just explaining what I just explained, right? So here's a question. Do you see a pattern? For each line, the y-coordinate of the point where the line crosses the x-axis is 0. The point where the line crosses the x-axis has the form a comma 0. This is called the x-intercept of the line. The x-intercept occurs when y is equal to 0. Remember that, right? That should even be highlighted because that's important, right? The x-intercept occurs when y is equal to 0. In each line, right, the x-coordinate of the point is where the line crosses the y-axis, right, is 0. The point where the line crosses the y-axis of the form 0 comma b and is called the y-intercept of the line. The y-intercept occurs when the x is 0. All right. Questions on this? Good. All right. Sometimes the words are not so appealing, right? Sometimes you need to see it in like a chart form. So here you go. All right. So you have x-intercept and y-intercepts of the line. So the x-intercept is the point a comma 0 where the line crosses the x-axis. So whatever point is crossing the x-axis, right? That's the x-intercept. The y-intercept is the point 0 comma b where the line crosses the y-axis, right? So the x-intercept occurs when y is 0, and the y-intercept occurs when x is 0. Okay? It's the reverse. Something good to remember. Woo. Not gonna lie to y'all, this is gonna be a hard question. Yeah, get ready for this question. It's gonna be hard right here. So I have two graphs right here, right? I want to know what is the x-intercept, what is the y-intercept for each graph. All right. It's hard because it might be small. Can you see it in the back clearly? No, it's a little small. All right. We'll go with orange for this one. So I'm looking at graph A. What's the x-intercept? Somebody tell me. For for what? Um, kind of. I was kind of hoping for a point. So I'm looking for something, comma, something. Go ahead. Exactly. 4 comma 0. This is my x-intercept, right? Which you're right about, right? I just wanted a point, right? What's my y-intercept? 0 comma 2. Very good, right? So that's right here. So that is 0 comma 2. That's it. Very simple. How about the next graph over here, right? What's my x-intercept? Close. Give me something better. No, no. 2 comma 0. Yeah. So right here, this is the x-intercept. It's where the graph is crossing the x-axis, right? When y is 0. So this is 2 comma 0. What's the y-intercept? Exactly, right? So right here, y-intercept, this is 0 comma -6. That's it. So the y-intercept, right, is where the graph crosses the y-axis when x equals 0. Yeah. Is where the graph crosses the y-axis, right, when x equals 0. So the y-axis is x equals 0, and I'm looking at this point right here where it's crossing the y-axis. Right? So that's 0. You just come across at the to the center. This is 0, then you're just going down 6. That's how you find it. 0 comma 6. Make sense? A little bit. I mean, when you get to the homework, you can try it and see. Well, you did it already? My man. Good job. All right. Let's try some more. Do, 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 do. I'll go ahead. Yeah. USB-C though. Is that okay? You know. All right. Same question. Oh shoot. Sorry. All right. I want my x-intercept and I want my y-intercept. So what's the x-intercept? Somebody tell me. -5 what? All right, -5 comma 0. All right, what is my y-intercept? Yep. This is 0 comma -5. All right. So here and here. No, it's something different. Yeah. Yeah. This is a trick. That's why. What we are doing before is how to get the answer for any situation, but we're working up to something over here. Yeah. 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 Okay. That's fine. As long as you get the right answer, I'm happy. Mm, mm. Questions on this? Anybody? We good? All right. All right. You guys try. So just to be clear, I want the x-intercepts, right? And I want the y-intercepts. And as a hint, it's a point, right? It's a point. Give y'all a minute to do that. Just curious, does that like red eraser nonsense bother y'all? Or y'all can see it clearly? Not gonna lie, I was mad when I came in. I was like, damn, I messed up the board. Whatever. I wish they just mess up the boards on the sides and don't touch the middle, you know? All right, let's try this. So somebody tell me what's the x-intercept? 2 comma 0. Very good, right? And that's found right here. Right, that's my x-intercept. What's my y-intercept? 0 comma negative 2, right? And that's right here. I'm sorry? Yep, that's it. You just identify it. So, questions on it, anybody? Good? All right. That's good. Glad you find it easy. This is like all your homework is about, is finding points, plotting them. Hmm. It was posted last night. So recognizing that the x-intercept occurs when is 0 and that the y-intercept occurs when x is 0 gives us a method to find the intercepts of a line from its equation. So to find the x-intercept, let y equal 0 and solve for x. To find the y-intercept, let x equal 0 and solve for y, right? So what am I leading this up to? So me personally, I like my little denominator trick, but y'all might not like my little denominator trick. That's cool. All right. So I'm gonna show y'all another way to do this. All right. Always you want to plug in 0, right? Zero is our best friend. Right. But another way to do it is you can actually find the x-intercept and the y-intercept, and that could be your other 2 points to graph your line. All right. We didn't get there yet, but that's what we're leading up to. Another method to graphing your line. So check this out, right? A little bit of notes first, right? So this is how to find the x and y intercepts from the equation of a line. So you use the equation of the line to find the x-intercept of the line. Let y equal 0 and solve for x. That's simple, right? You're gonna have an equation. You're gonna plug in 0 for y and solve for x, right? And then boom, you found the x-intercept right there. For the y-intercept of the line, you're just gonna plug in x equals 0. Boom, plug in x for 0 for x, and whatever's left over, that's your y-intercept. You just solve for y. Let's try it out. Let's try it out. Let's try it out. All right. So look, I have this equation right here. 2x plus y is equal to 8, right? 2x plus y is equal to 8. Now I want the x-intercept. And remember, the x-intercept, right, is the point where the graph is going to cross the x-axis when y equals 0. So right off the bat, I know that my answer is what? Is something comma 0. All you got to do, take that 0, plug it in for y. So what does this become? 2x plus 0 equals 8. Now, you know anything plus 0 is just itself, right? So this is going to be what? 2x equals 8. All right, this is the hard part now, right? I want to get x by itself. So I want to undo the multiplication of 2 times x. I'm going to divide by 2. But you know what I do to one side of the equation? I got to do to the other side of the equation. Oh boy, here we go. What's 8 divided by 2? What y'all got? 4, right? All right, 4. There we go. That's my x-intercept, 4 comma 0. Done. All right? Let's try for the y-intercept, right? I'm gonna do it in blue for the Knicks, right? So we have y-intercept right here, right? So you know that the y-intercept is where the graph is going to cross the y-axis when x equals 0. So this is going to be what? 0 comma something, right? I don't know what it is, but 0 comma something, right? So what am I going to do? I'm going to literally take the 0, plug that in for x, right? So we have what? We have 2x plus y equals 8. I'm plugging in the 0 for x. So this becomes 2 times 0 plus y is equal to 8. You know, anything times 0 is just 0, right? So this is just 0 plus y equals 8. So final answer, y is equal to 8. So boom, my y-intercept is 0 comma 8. And I'm done. That's it. Any questions on this? Good. This is how you find x-intercept and a y-intercept from an equation. All right. Y'all want to try one or y'all feel like y'all got it? No? Good? All right. By the way, this is being recorded, so you can always rewatch it back, in case you want. Everything's been posted in the announcements already for all the old. Huh? Say it again? Yeah, that's all being picked up. All of that. Yeah. All right, so let's take it up a notch. All right. Now, I'm gonna be honest with you, right? On the test, I'm gonna just be like, graph this line, but I'm not gonna tell you how to do it. It's up to you to do what you feel comfortable with, right? I'm telling you that plotting the points will always get it right. Never get it wrong there. But this is a trick that you can also use, right? Graphing a line using the intercepts. So to graph a linear equation by plotting points, you need to find 3 points whose coordinates are solutions to the equation. You can use the x and y intercepts to as two of your 3 points. Find the intercepts and then find a third point to ensure accuracy, right? Make sure the points line up, then draw the line. This method is often the quickest way to graph a line, all right? So, blah, blah, blah. Same question as before, right? I want to graph this line, but this time I'm going to use the intercepts to graph the line, all right? So, I have negative x plus 2y is equal to 6, right? So what is my x-intercepts? CEPT, something like that, right? So remember, the x-intercept is where the graph will cross the x-axis when y equals 0, right? So right now I know right off the bat, this is going to be something comma 0. Plug it into the equations. It's going to be what? Negative x plus 2 times 0 is equal to 6. Let's do the math out, right? 2 times 0 is, forgot what that is. What's that, like 0? So this becomes negative x is equal to 6, right? So now I want to get rid of that negative sign in front of the x, right? So I'm going to divide by -1. But you know what I do to one side of the equation, I got to do to the other side of the equation. So I'm going to divide by -1. So x is equal to 6 divided by -1, which is -6. This is my x-intercept, right? Now I want to find my y-intercept, right? Now, you know the y-intercept, right, is where the graph crosses the y-axis when x equals 0. So this is going to be what? 0 comma something. I don't know what it is, right? Let's try it out, right? So I have negative x plus 2y is equal to 6. I'm plugging in 0 for x. This becomes negative times 0 plus 2y is equal to 6. Now, you know anything times 0 is just 0, right? So this is 2y is equal to 6. I want to solve for y, so I'm going to divide by 2. Well, I do to one side, you know I got to do to the other. So this is just y equals 3. Bam. So now I have my x-intercept. I have my y-intercept. All I have to do is graph that. Let's try it out. In the interest of time, I'm going to do a little shorthand graph. But when you guys graph, you should always write out all your numbers and all of that. Make it look pretty, you know? So this is negative 6, 0, right? So I'm going to come across to negative 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? So this is that point right here. This is negative 6 comma 0. And then I have 0, 3. Hold on one second. Start off at 0. I'm going to go up 3. 1, 2, 3, right? This is that point. Do it down here, 0 comma 3. Connect the dots, and there you go. That's your line. This is the equation negative x plus 2y equals 6. And that's how you can graph the line using the intercepts, the x and the y intercepts. Questions on this? Good? All right. Just plot the points and that's it. If it's cool, can we do another example? All right. But before I jump into that, though, I just want to give y'all some notes. Just for those of you that like notes, I got y'all. So here you go. All right. Just get this. There we go. So these are the steps to graph a linear equation using the intercepts, right? So how to graph a linear equation using the intercepts. Step 1, find the x and y intercepts of the line, right? Let y equal 0, solve for x, right? Let x equal 0, solve for y. Step 2, find a third solution of the equation. Go ahead. You know, you only need 2 to do it, but you could find a third one just to be sure of what you're doing, right? Step 3, plot the 3 points and then check that they line up, draw the line. Same thing that we did before, all right? Let's try it. Tell me what to do. Go ahead. Hmm? That's fine. No problem. It's being recorded, so you can just watch it later. Yeah. Oh, wait. Forgot attendance. Hold on. I'm signing it real quick. Where you go? I got you. No, come through. Come sign this real quick before you go. Yeah, come sign this real quick. Sign your name real quick. You get to go. Yeah, anything you got. All right. So we want to graph this using our intercepts. Same thing that we just did, right? So I want to find my x-intercept. You remember the x-intercept is where y equals 0, right? So this is something comma 0. Just plug it in, right? So this is going to be what? 4x minus 3 times 0 is equal to 12. You know that this is 0. So this is just 4x is equal to 12. Divide by 4 on both sides. I have x is equal to 3. That's my x-intercept. To find my y-intercept, very simply, remember the y-intercept, forgot that. The y-intercept is gonna cross the y-axis when x equals 0. So this is just 0 comma something, right? Just plug it in, right? This is gonna become what? 4 times 0 minus 3y equals 12. This is 0, very good. So minus 3y equals 12. Now we're just gonna divide by -3. Get y by itself. So y equals -4. And that's it. Questions on this? After you got those points, just plot it. I know they say to find a third point. If you want, find a third point. Very simply, if you're finding a third point, you're just going to plug in some value for x, your choice, and then you just solve for it, right? But real quick, your graph should look like 3 comma 0. So 1, 2, 3 should be right here. This is 3 comma 0. And your other point is 0 comma -4. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4 right here. This is 0 comma -4. Make a line through it, and that's it. Any questions? Good. Mhm. So the x-intercept is this one, 3 comma 0. It's where the graph crosses the x-axis when y equals 0. And the y-intercept is 0 comma -4. It's where the graph crosses the y-axis when x equals 0. Okay. After some practice, you'll remember it. And I'm sure it'll be really annoying in the video when you hear me saying the same thing again and again and again. Yeah. Yeah. You switch them? Yeah. All right, that happens. Yeah, that happens. Yeah. All right. Da, 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 da. Let me see how much more I got because I don't want to hold y'all here too late. All right, just bear with me through one more example and then we'll call it at that. All right. Whoops. This next example is not going to be so pretty. We're probably going to need to find another point. Well, here we go, right? So when the line passes through the origin, that's in the middle of the graph, right? The x-intercept and y-intercept are the same point, right? So this question here, this equation is going to actually pass through the point 0, 0, right? However, I don't know how slanted it's going to be and all that, so I'm going to have to choose another point real quick. So let's do this real quick. So we have our x-intercept, intercept, whatever, right? So remember, the x-intercept is where the graph crosses the x-axis when y equals 0. So this is something, comma, 0, right? Plug in 0 for y. This is going to become what? 0 is equal to 5x. Divide by 5 on both sides. You got x is equal to 0. Boom. Right? Now for our y-intercept. I'm doing this to save space, but just understand that I'm doing it twice, right? For this one, the y-intercept, this is where the graph is going to cross the y-axis when x equals 0. So now, doing the math on that, I have y is equal to 5 times 0, which you guys know is just 0. Boom. They're the same point. Let me pick another point, right? It could be any point that you want. I'm just going to do the point 1, right? So when x is 1, right? The y answer is 5, right? I'm only doing that so that I can plot the graph a little bit more accurately, right? So here we go. 0, 0 is the origin right there in the middle, right? And now we have 1 comma 5. You go over 1 and then go up 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? And we're gonna graph that right here. This is 1 comma 5. This is the origin, 0 comma 0. Put a line through them. And that's that. Questions on this, anybody? Same technique, just used in a different way. Right? All right, so then that's it. There's no questions. That's it. We're done. If you want to start your homework in the next 10 minutes, you can. Right? If you finished it already, you're dismissed. Just come sign out or whatever. May I take this down? Is anybody still copying? Can I take this down? Thank you. You're welcome. No problem. I know it takes me a while to download this stuff, so